Oh my God! Welcome everyone to the stream. How's everyone doing tonight? I think that start, that beginning was appropriate. Because as I said, guys, of all my new stretch goals, I'm reviewing a ton of bad films, and as requested by Don, I'm going to be doing Troll 2 tonight. And this is I'll tell you right now, I have seen clips of Troll 2 in the past, obviously the meme, the GIFs that I just referenced and everything like that, occasional clips, but I have not seen this 90-plus minute film in its entirety. I have now seen it, and I do not think I'm a better person for seeing it at the end of the day. It was an experience. Ashtray, bitch, welcome to. Look at everyone in the chat. How you guys doing today? Hold on. Before we get into the good stuff, guys, I want to welcome everyone. A golden welcome, Chris Ayers, Relis Venture. Are the doggos there? How are the doggos? Arrow Senpai. Lando Stevenson. Don, as I said before, how's everyone doing? They're eating her, and then they're going to eat me. Oh my God! Excuse me. Oh my God! I have to look up into the middle distance there, chat. And there's like a fly on his head, too. There's like a look at this shit, chat. Look at this fly. There's like a fly right there. But it like doesn't move at all. It's weird. I don't understand it. That's part of the movie. That is canon. That is Troll 2 canon. That fly was real practical effect. It was one of my favorite parts of the entire film. They are going to fucking eat him. Oh, they're eating his ass. Oh, yeah. Yeah, a number of people got eaten in this movie, guys. And it wasn't pleasant. It's weird. It doesn't really make much sense. But it was not pleasant. That I could tell you. Couldn't even get any enjoyment out of that because of how bad the goddamn acting was. Oh. The fly gives the best performance. The fly is just natural. That's the thing about that fly. It's doing what it does, unlike all the people and characters in the film. None of them act natural. The family doesn't. There's no fucking chemistry between nobody but the fly, chat. That's what I gravitated towards in this film. The fly. Of all the creatures and things that happened to it. That was the most natural set piece in the entire film. Sarah, happy stream day. Welcome to the stream, Sarah. Oh, and thank you. Who was that person that gave me the host? Christian, thank you for the host. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you guys. Corey got Martin's chair. Now I have to get Christian. Oh, no. I'm fine, Don. I'll settle for the chairs they have in the studio. You don't need to do that, my friend. No, but thank you again for your generosity, Don. Both for contributing to tonight's spoiler review for Troll 2, but also just in general to my stream, the Double Toaster stream. Don's one of the most generous people I know. Matter of fact, let's get some Mr. Revan Yays, Mr. Revan Hypes in the chat for Don right now, guys. And I'll raise my glass to you, good sir. I know you don't drink, Don, but I'm going to drink for you right now. I'll drink double tonight. May the wings of liberty never lose a feather. Here's to you, my friend. Those chairs suck, but they got so much personality, though. Those black ones that don't move are kind of good. I kind of like that. They got some good back support. Nabog. How do you say the town? Is it Nickelbog or Nigbog? It's very odd. I don't know why they have a K in there. No, it's called Nilbog. That's what it's called, Nilbog. You're confusing me, Golden. Nailbog, because it's Goblin spelled backwards, chat. It's Goblin spelled backwards. Coco, welcome to stream. Ooh, we got Noir, Mr. Revenier. That's very cool. Bad Arcane, welcome. Ion Laser, how you doing? No doggos today, you're off. Well, that's good, man. I mean, it's always good to have doggos around you, no question about that. But I'm glad you have a nice day off, guys. I'm gonna admit, I'm a little tired today. It was my first, even though I went into work yesterday, that was because I was working on a very big project. Today was the first day of the new semester, and just inundated with requests from faculty, students, still working on a number of projects at the same time. So I'm a little tired. Up at 7, been working until like 6:30. So I just needed to come home. I just needed to not do anything, not move, just eat some goddamn food, have an alcoholic beverage, and just kind of sit back and do nothing. And then also watch the last 20 minutes of Troll 2 because I couldn't finish it last. I was like, I'm too goddamn tired for this. I can't put myself through another 20 minutes of Troll 2. I'd already watched 70 minutes of that film last. I was like, I can't do it. No, I'm too tired. It's been too much. It's a 6-hour stream. And then finishing off with Troll 2. That is no way to live, chat, but I did it for you. I do it all for you, chat. And I appreciate your generosity. I am going to probably announce my next stretch goal towards the middle of the stream, probably after my review for tonight's film. We'll get into. You guys have come up with a number of great recommendations, and I really do appreciate that. Be making this a consistent thing, a part of my streams. Again, thank you so much, guys. And you have any other suggestions in the future, please let me know. But first of all, before we get into the movie, has anyone seen Troll 2 before? It's considered to be one of the worst movies of all time, considered to be the best bad movie of all time in terms of just, I guess, it's enjoyment people get from it. It's a huge cult following. There was a documentary about its production. Matter of fact, the director of the documentary was one of the actors from the film, Michael Stevenson, who played the kid, the main character in the movie. He did a documentary detailing what happened in the summer of 1989. The depravity that occurred. Oh, Mixon Jose, welcome to stream. Thank you so much for the host. The hosts really do help, guys. Help spread the word of the Revenites. Here we go. Here we go. So some of you, it's bad when you have to pace yourself during the movie. Yeah, it's like in the first 10 minutes, I was like, okay, this is hurting. And really, it's best to see these kinds of films with a group of people. It's really rough to watch them by yourself. Because then, yeah, you can laugh, but after a while, you just become numb. And I was just becoming numb. And it didn't help that I was also tired. And so I was just in a miserable state. But as I said, I do it for you. What we got? Arrow Senpai, you've seen it. Don, you know that the grocery clerk at the grocery shop was an insane asylum at the time. He was on a day pass. I did not know that. I believe it, though. A lot of people in this movie seemed off. Not just because they're bad actors. Yep, the movie and the documentary, best, worst movie, exactly. Ashtray, bitch, you love that. I know that's the new subscription alert sound for Double Toasted. I adore it. I mean, I love Denzel, but we retired Denzel for now, guys. We got Makad Brooks in there. We got some fresh blood, a new face to the Double Toasted family. I'm glad you guys are embracing it. It's very, very cool. Retronimus, never heard of this movie. Oh, my God. Well, I have a story. I have a tall tale to tell you, my friend. Pleasure to have you here so I could tell it to you. Barricane, I had to see it because of the meme. That movie stays with you and not going. No, it stays with me. It's here. It's still. I'm carrying it in my body. It's like I have consumed the sweet gelatin nectar that the trolls feed to the humans to make them into plants, turn their blood into chlorophyll, and so the trolls can then inundate themselves the mass that is what was once a human being. And they become bloated and fat, and they enjoy themselves, and they dance, and they plan their next schemes. This is all that's happening in the movie, Jet. I'm not making shit up on the fly. This is fucking plot in the film. I'm telling you what the base of this movie is right now. General's Lordy. That's what I was at the end of watching this film. The next, okay, so question. What is a movie that is so bad good that you love that enough people don't know about and isn't appreciated enough? So question, a movie that is so bad good that you love. I mean, Blind Fury. I mean, now you guys all know about that, but Corey, so many people had never seen it. Corey, I told Corey about that film months ago, probably like 3-4 months ago, or maybe even 6 months ago, to do like possible like a bad movie review series. But he wanted to start that when he finally did the Twitch stuff, and so he already seen it recently, and so that was always mine. Mine was always Blind Fury. I will say I thought the popcorn scene was pretty hot. Did you though, Don? Did you? I was just confused. A lot of scenes there are just fucking confusing. Jose, welcome to stream. Jose Barr, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing very well. Thank you so much for stopping by the stream yesterday. Seriously, we had a lot of support yesterday from Double Toasted, a number of other streamers as well. I know it's just a lot more people coming in. So yeah, Double Toasted, thank you so much for that raid. Really do appreciate that. The Revenites are growing, chat. My family, much like the family in Trolls. Well, I guess they don't really grow at all. They just pop up randomly. And they don't go into the reproduction of Trolls and Troll 2. I just assume they've always existed. I guess they're fucking immortal. Not invulnerable, but they are immortal. I guess they live for a very long time. They didn't get in the reproduction, features of Trolls. Thank God. Didn't want to see that. That'd be fucking disgusting. Yes. Someone was seriously high when they made that thing. I mean, just to give you, okay, let's get into it, guys. So some of you have seen the movie, some of you not. Let me just give you kind of the baseline history of this film. So, despite it being called Troll 2, the film was actually under the working title of Goblins when they were doing principal photography. It had nothing to do with Troll 2. The reason why, or the Troll series, the reason why they called Troll 2 is because a few years prior, in 1986, there was a film released called Troll. And Troll was a minor hit at the time. It had a budget between $700,000 and $1 million, released just under in 1,000 theaters in the United States. Ended up making $5.5 million. It made a profit. And that film established like a cult following for a little while. It's like, okay. So these filmmakers, which is an Italian team, specifically producers, directors, directed by Claudio Fragasso, all spoke Italian, didn't speak a word of fucking English, none of them, to capitalize, or at least try to earn a profit, or like at least get people's attention. That's why they renamed Goblins to Troll 2. And in the movie Troll 2, the word troll or trolls is never mentioned. That's why it's like, why is this called this thing, but that word is not mentioned in the movie? It doesn't make any sense. It's because they wanted to capitalize off of someone's success. It was fucking nefarious what they did, and they deserved to fail. But in years later, they actually had, much success because it became a cult hit, because it was so fucking terrible, because they were so filled with depravity while making this movie. That's what happened. And most of the film is filled with people who did have no history of acting. I mean, one of the most infamous people being the father of the film, Mr. George Hardy, who actually auditioned at the time. He was a dentist. He actually owned, and I think still does, a fairly successful dental clinic in Alabama. And he went in, did an audition for this movie, got casted as the dad of the movie. But for most of the film, we actually followed this kid, as I said before, played by Michael Stevenson. He eventually did a documentary about the making of this movie. I've only checked out a little bit of it, but so far it's really interesting. If you want to, honestly, I think guys should do a double feature. See Troll 2 first, and then watch a documentary about all the nonsense that fucking happened. And I'm like about 15, 20 minutes into it right now. It's great. Highly recommend it. But, oh, look at all the people. Welcome again, guys. Hope you're all doing very, very well tonight. Good to see you. Thomas Earl, welcome. It's explaining the troll porn parody. Absolutely. The reproduction cycle? No question about that. I believe that is the case. But, now before I get into nitty-gritty details, guys, I do want to thank a few people. Again, as I said, I will be continuing my Skyrim adventures with Idris the Cat Daddy later on. So probably in the next hour or so, I'll continue my Skyrim playthrough. I also want to thank a number of people for following me off stream. I want to thank Ultron Unlimited, Generals Lordy, and I believe that's the only two people that follow me off stream. So thank you very much. Welcome. And I also want to thank the weekly top donator in Lamariere. Lamariere, thank you so much for the 400 biddies, and also the monthly top donor, Fern, still in first place with 2,360 biddies. Thank you so much. All right, guys, let's get into the nitty-gritty details here. Let's talk about this fucking thing. And you know what? When I first started watching this, I thought I was watching a bad copy of the movie or one that had been heavily edited. because I watch this on YouTube. The film is up completely free on YouTube. It's like in scenes. It's like in 11 parts or something, in like 9.5-minute parts. And at first I thought I was like, oh, maybe this is like just a bad version. It's a edited version. That's why they posted to YouTube. It's like, no, this is because the movie is so poorly edited. Because the movie starts, you got the Metro Golden Lion roaring and shit, and then it immediately cuts to, basically in this forest, and we hear this guy narrating, and we're following in what their attempt to do, I think, is to make it a period piece set in, I don't know what they're going for. I think it's like supposed to be like the Middle Ages or the Renaissance era, but like the getup they have this guy in who we're first seeing on camera, he's wearing something that you would expect to see in a middle or high school play. He's basically dressed like Peter Pan with a little hat and everything like that. And he is wandering the forest. And we learned that his name is Peter. That's what the narrator telling us. And then suddenly, with his prancing through the forest, getting to whatever destination he was trying to get to, he is attacked. He is come upon by goblins. They're not trolls, Chad. They never mention the word trolls in this film. Let me remember that. And they're saying that, okay, all right, so the trolls, I call them trolls, Chad. They're not called trolls. They're called goblins. The goblins are some of the most despicable and evil creatures in the world. And our character we're just introduced to, Peter, he's like, fuck that. I got to get the hell out of here. I don't want to do with any of that. And so he's just running. And by the way, the trolls, when we first see them, because we see them pretty early, I call them trolls, goblins. When we first see the goblins, they look terrible. As you see probably in stills and trailers and clips in this movie, it's just really cheap-looking Halloween masks. You can basically see the actors' eyes in between, the actual mask. You can see the actors' tongues sticking out. They just look fake as hell. They got some weird gooey green sap coming out of them. It just looks terrible. Clearly they dressed a whole bunch of children, or I also assume dwarves, to dress as these things. And the thing is, like, Peter, he's moving, he's hustling pretty fast. And it's like, there's no way these guys with their stubby little legs can catch up to him. There's no question. He would escape the goblins, and we would have no setup for this film at all. But Peter, as we learn, is a fuck-up. And he's stumbling around this goddamn forest, does like a weird action roll. That's the other thing, guys. When it starts, again, it's trying to be a period piece here, like the Middle Ages or like Renaissance era, maybe England, I don't know, maybe colonial period. It's undecided. It's very undecided. We'll just say medieval for right now. There's like this weird, funky 80s action music that's playing during the scene as he's running away. Again, I am not immersed in the Middle Ages in this part. Not at all. I don't feel it. And so at one point, he trips over himself, which at least I didn't know he tripped over himself, because he does like a weird somersault kind of like flip thing, but he knocks himself out. And he's like, oh shit, what happened? And then we cut, guys, and we learned that, okay, this isn't just a period piece, not at all. We cut to a bedroom with a child, and his creepy fucking grandfather, Seth. The child's name is, I believe, Joshua, and the grandfather's name is Seth, and he's telling Joshua about the history of goblins. Basically, well, at least, we don't know it's the history of goblins. He's just telling him a fairy tale, basically. And Joshua's all freaking out about it, but Seth is like, he's just fucking enjoying himself. Grandpa Seth is all about it. He's trying to teach him a lesson. Like, listen, goblins fucking exist in this world. Don't, ignore what I'm trying to tell you here. And so Joshua is like, oh, what happened, Grandpa? And Grandpa goes back to the story. And he says, like, oh, well, he was knocked out for a very long time. Didn't know what the hell happened. But he came to, and lo and behold, a beautiful, buxom maiden appeared before him, with the eyes the color of the sea. That's his exact words. That's his exact words. The eyes the color of the sea. Weird fake freckles around her face. I don't really know why. Fern, welcome to stream. My Bitty Boss Champion. How you doing? I'm just talking about Troll 2. There are no trolls there's no trolls in Troll 2. They're goblins, chat. I gotta remember that. I keep forgetting that. But this buxom, fake freckled lass comes upon him and is like, oh, I'm gonna help you out, Peter. Hey, Peter, you went through quite the ordeal being chased by those stubby goblins. I have some green pudding sap to give you to heal you. And Peter's all about, he's like, oh, fuck, I'm hungry as hell. I'm gonna give it to me. And so he's just chugging this goddamn thing. Basically, it's being held in a clamshell or something. He's all about it. But as he starts to consume the gelatin mass, and from this clamshell, he starts to feel sick. He doesn't feel good at all. He got the bubbly guts, and it's not good. And we hear through Grandpa Seth's narration that this is how I was going to say trolls. This is how the goblins consume their food. This is how they start the process, because the goblins, they don't like meat at all. They're not about that. They actually despise it. They're vegetarians. Like, oh, they're vegetarians, so why would they want to attack humans? Why wouldn't they just want to eat all of the plants and fruits and vegetables of the earth and just leave humans alone? Because they're fucking evil, chat. Remember, they're fucking evil. That's why. So, they make people eat this gelatin mass, and the person basically breaks down into a bigger gelatin mass. It's like a pudding, like a green, white pudding. And then Peter he's just fucking melting. Sap is just coming out of his head. He's screaming. He's ah! And then we revealed that the buxom lass was not a buxom lass, chat. She was one of the goblins. She had cast an illusion on Peter and made himself appear like that buxom lass. He's like, oh my God, I've been manipulated. And they start chowing down. They just start eating. And meanwhile, Grandpa Seth's having a great time. Joshua's just freaked the fuck out. This is horrifying. He's about 9, 10 years old. He doesn't want to hear this, but Grandpa Seth, he's just laughing. He's having a great time. Now, during all this, Grandpa Seth says, hey, now listen to me, Joshua. This shit is fucking real. This isn't a story. They do this to this day. And you have to stay vigilant. Joshua's just freaked the fuck out. He's screaming his little head off. And then suddenly, from out of the darkness, his door from his bedroom opens, and his mother comes in and is like, Joshua, what's wrong? And Joshua's like all scared, and he looks to where his grandfather was sitting, and he's fucking gone. We learn in this scene that Grandpa Seth was an apparition, chat. And we learn from his mother, who, honestly, guys, she might be the worst actor in this movie. It's really hard. I mean, of the actors we've gotten so far, she's definitely the worst. At first it was Peter, then it was Grandpa Seth, then it was Joshua, and now it's the mother, whose name I cannot remember. No, I'm not going to remember. Her name, it's the mother. So she comes in, and she's just laying down the exposition. She tells him, listen, my son Joshua, and she uses stuff like that. Like, my son, Joshua, with that same type of cadence and pauses. Again, these people that they got never acted before in their lives. And you can fucking tell. Grandpa Seth died 6 months ago. Who you been talking to? It could be all in Joshua's head. And then the mother asks him, what does your therapist always say? And Joshua says, it's just a figment of my imagination. My trauma that I've pressed down deep inside of me. And it comes out in all sorts of horrific ways. And they laugh, and it's like, this is not right. This isn't a laughing matter. This kid has serious psychological issues over the death of his grandfather, and we shouldn't be laughing at that. He needs serious help, no matter. Because, as his mother says, they're going to be going on a vacation to the country. They're going to be, it's going to be Joshua, his mother, his sister, and his father, the dentist, who's not a dentist but might as well be, because he needs something. The father needs to be defined by something. He's defined by nothing in this film. They're gonna go out to the country for the month and just, I guess, work at a farmhouse. They're doing like this weird swap where the farm family, the country family, it's basically like Country Mouse, City Mouse, where the city family, Joshua's family, is gonna go out to the country and work the farmhouse, and the country family is gonna come to the city and I guess experience urban culture. I don't know. That's what's going to happen. And so she calms Joshua down, like, hey, go to sleep. Don't think about your dead grandfather. He's not going to haunt us. We banished him months ago. It's fine. And she goes out. And then she checks on her daughter, who, again, in her room is just 80s iconography, chat. It is the 80s. You got a sexy, young, slightly post, Nightmare on Elm Street, Johnny Depp, when he was doing, 21 Jump Street, Johnny Depp, nice big poster right there in the room. A number of other hot 80s icons. She's fucking working out. She's listening to all that synth music. She's having a good time. She's okay. She's doing something. So it's like, hey, if they were to fight the goblins, I'm going to be with the sister, because she can probably handle herself. Now, what's the sister's name? Holly. That's who it is. Mother checks on her, doesn't say a word to her. She's like, I'm just going to let her work out, listen to music, whatever, she's fine. Then she goes downstairs, and that's where we meet the husband. I'm just going to call him the dentist. Now, the dentist, he's super excited about going to the country. He's tired of city life. He's like, I don't want to be bothered with it. I want to go to the country and relax and experience what our ancestors experienced 100 years ago, which I guess 1880s, I guess they did. I don't know why he wants to live that life. And I think he has some weird preconceived notions of people that live in the country. Like, they don't have the same, like, technology that we do. And it's in an upcoming scene. It's very bizarre. And they have a complete failure of intimacy in that scene because you can tell these two actors have no chemistry. But they're jazzed about going to the country. They're all about it right now. And then, I believe we cut to the morning. Oh, no. I know what happened. After this, guys, they were introduced to a new character. There tons of new people within the first 5-10 minutes of this film. We're introduced to Holly's boyfriend, whose name is Elliot. Now, Elliot, to me, in the movie, is clearly gay. I don't think that's, a bit of a stretch to say. I'm not saying that to be funny. It's obvious that he's gay, and he's trying to deny that fact because he's obsessed with just hanging out with his friends, his boyfriends, chat. And there are key scenes throughout this entire film that indicate he's not really just in Holly. I think he's just trying to, prove himself to his family. He's like, no, he's pressing it down. That's not who I am. I like girls, which he clearly just does not. He seems really not really taken with Holly whatsoever. But he goes up there, fucking creeps into a room, scares the shit out of Joshua too, by the way, before he does that. Again, taking out his rage, his sexual frustrations. He doesn't know what to do with himself, chap. But he goes into Holly's room. He's like, hey, how you doing? And she's like, and again, terrible. Now we hear Holly talking. And now Holly has become the worst actor in this film because all of her dialogues, my father wouldn't like that. I'm going to tell my father the truth about us. Like all that, like that cadence, that type of delivery. They have a little squabble. He says, hey, to prove my love to you and the fact that I'm totally not gay, by the way, I will come out to the country with you and spend the month with you. And she's jazzed. She's like, okay, let's do it. But don't bring your friends. And Elliot's like, ooh, I don't know if I can do that. Because he's, he wants to be with the boys, chat. He just wants to be with the boys. And so he leaves, and then his friends are talking. It's like, hey, what's happening, Elliot? Did you? Again, they're making lewd references and things. Again, trying to prove, like, they're trying to be more masculine than they actually are. It's like, listen, man, just accept yourself for who you are. There's nothing wrong with that, And matter of fact, you'll be happier with that, and society will be happy with that, I think. Be confident. But these guys, again, it's 80s chat, fucking Reagan era, jingoistic America, all that bullshit. You got to suppress those feelings. That's what's happening in this scene. And actually, this is the one part of the movie. It's like, okay, there's something here, but they don't explore it. A lot of it's just used for jokes. And so after that, after Elliot and the boys, they take off to do whatever they're going to do. We come to the morning, and they're like getting ready to pack and everything. Holly, though, and then they finally get on the road because Holly tells her boyfriend, hey, meet us here at 8. We're going to leave at 8, and you're going to take off. But they cut to the morning. It's 9:30. Boyfriend never fucking showed up. He was hanging out with the boys. Holly's very upset about it. You can't console her. She's talking shit to her brother. The parents are trying to console her. And this is the part that's very bizarre. Because after all this, rambunctiousness is happening in the car, the mother goes, oh, Elliot, you know what? Let's change the subject about all this stuff that's happening. Why don't you sing that song that I like so much? What that new song that you like so much, that I like so much? And he's like, okay. And he starts singing Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Apparently his fucking mother has never heard of Row, Row, Row Your Boat. I guess they're using that because they can't afford to have any actual music in this film, any songs, so they have to use something that doesn't have a copyright attached to it. And so they proceed to sing Row, Row, Row Your Boat. And I guess during this moment, Joshua falls asleep. Something happens in that regard. And then he wakes up, and his parents, I think they give him something to eat or something. He eats, he's like, oh, this is great or whatever. But then he begins to transform, Chad. He becomes plant-like and everything. He starts melting. Sap is bursting out of his pores. It's actually kind of horrific in a way. It wasn't just shot so terribly, and the effects were so bad. But he's becoming the gelatin mass that the goblins eat, and it's quite scary. And he wakes out about that. He starts panicking. Meanwhile, when he wakes out, the parents are like, "Oh, what happened? What's wrong with you? You need to throw up or something?" Outside of the van, we see this homeless man who is in fact Grandpa Seth, and he has a sign that says, "Go away, don't go to Niglob," whatever it's called. That's the town they're going to with the farm family. It's called Nilgob or whatever, or Nilbog, chat. My mistake, Nilbog. And he's like, oh, stop the car, I need to vomit. And he goes out there and he runs up to Grandpa Seth. He's like, Grandpa Seth, what why are you doing here? Why are you warning us? He's like, you can't go, that's where the fucking goblins live. That's the Goblin Kingdom. That is their source of power. He's like, oh my God. And so he cuts back to his parents. He's like, guys, we can't go to Nilblog because that's where the goblins live. And then parents are like, what the fuck are you talking about? We're going to there no matter what. And he turns back to the Grandpa Seth, but it's not Grandpa Seth, chat. It is now a homeless man who just wants to ride. He's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but you're gonna give me a lift. They don't give him a lift, chat. They get Joshua back in the car and they head to Nilbog. Are you following me now? Are you understanding? Thomas, row your boat. That new Bieber album, I know. Who knew? I didn't know about that song, Chad. It's quite impressive. Fern dude looks like he's 30 when he's supposed to be a teen. Looks like a pervy version of Eli Roth. What, Elliot? He definitely does. Oh my God. All right. So after that, they finally do get off the road, Chad. Joshua's not having any dreams. And they meet the farm family. I'm not sure what their names are. I don't think they have names. No, they don't have names. Sorry, chat. So they meet the farm family, and instantly you know, like, all right, this is fucked up. Something's wrong here because the farm family's acting very rude. They're not really human. They all have this weird mark on their faces or on their parts of bodies. It's in the shape of a four-leaf clover. It's like a skin tag. It's like this giant, like, weird skin growth in the shape of a four-leaf clover. So it's like, okay, clearly these are goblins. But the family doesn't know. But only Joshua could tell. It's like, all right, something's off about these. Even though they don't know human emotion. They're really bad. Like, sometimes they do, but this fucking family definitely doesn't. And they're like, oh, hello, fellow human. We have our house here for you. And they take off, and they're going to go to the city now. And then Joshua's family enter in the house. It's like, oh, they're like, oh, this is country life, country hospitality. Isn't this wonderful, Joshua? Joshua's like, I don't like this. Then the family comes upon the kitchen, and the country family laid out a nice spread for them. And it's not a great spread because it looks like something that you probably shopped at, like, a convenience store. Because it's just filled with the most disgusting cakes and Kool-Aid drinks. Like, fuck, not even Kool-Aid, chat, just drink. Like purple drink, except it's green drink. And just gelatinous cakes that are green and white. And it's like, okay, clearly the goblins. This is the goblin food. You gotta give it to the humans, and then they'll fucking dissolve into the goblin gelatin mass, which they will then consume. It's like Josh was like, oh, fuck, don't eat this. They even have green butter, which they're just lathering on the corn. Because they do have corn on the cob there, but they're just lathering this green butter on the corn. He's like, oh, we're just gonna munch. It's like, why? Why would you do that? Clearly that is not natural. Don't you want, like, that natural country life you're always going on about, dentist dad? Apparently he doesn't care about that. And Josh was like, this is not good. And they're taking a sweet time before they start eating. But thankfully, guys, Joshua hears some noise, some wrestling near the window. He goes over the window. And it's Grandpa Seth. He's returned again. Pull the fucking Ben Kenobi. Grandpa Seth, by the way, he's very much playing by Star Wars, Last Jedi, Force Awaken rules, like with Force Ghosts. Because apparently he can do anything he wants at any given time. Like, he can actually interact with the physical world. And, as we're going to see in the next moment, manipulate time. Because Josh is like, I need to stop them from eating the goblin food. And Grandpa Seth's like, listen, man. And he lays it down. He's like, you have 60 seconds. No, you have 30 seconds to stop this. And Grandpa Seth goes and stops time. I don't know why Grandpa Seth can do this, but he stops time, and Josh was like, fuck, I gotta think of my feet here. What am I gonna do? And he's just circling around. He's pacing around his family. He's looking at all the meals that they're gonna be consuming, the gelatinous cake masses and green buttered corn, lathered in that green butter. And Joshua he's like, all right. He gets on the table, guys, and he's unbuckling his pants, unbuckling his belt, and he's like, oh, here we go, and just proceeds. We don't see it, but we know what happens because of the aftermath, and proceeds to shit and piss while walking all around the table. Just fucking emptying his bowels upon the food and his family, chat. I am not fucking joking. We don't see it, but that is clearly what happens because we immediately cut after him, this child, this prepubescent 10-year-old is taking his pants off to shit on his family. We immediately cut to them cleaning themselves off and throwing out the food, and the dentist dad is pissed because he's got Joshua on his goddamn shoulders. He's just running up those goddamn stairs. He's like, fuck you, little shit. You took all our food away. And he throws him in the bed, and he's like reading the names off because the family also has marked each bedroom with the name of Joshua's family, which is kind of weird. And he's like, all right, listen, man. And he also going into this weird thing where apparently dentist dad's family grew up very, very poor, and they didn't have a lot of food. And he's like, and we thought he was going to start beating them because he's like, I'm going to get my belt here and tighten it. Gonna get another notch in there because we're going to have hunger pains because of you. And he has a very thick, like, Alabama accent, chat, because the actor's from Alabama. And he's like, I hope you feel guilty about this. But he doesn't beat the kid. Like, clearly, you know what, Jen? I'm not against, that type of punishment for children. But if my kid shit and pissed all over my dinner table and all our food, physical altercations might occur after that. That's all I'm going to say. You don't piss on his hospitality. Mr. Hovender, welcome. That's right. That's the last thing he says. Because Joshua literally shit and pissed all over hospitality. And so after that, it's nighttime. Oh, that's right. I forgot. Oh, we're also introduced, I believe, to Elliot and his friends again. Because he's like, Elliot's like, oh, shit. I got to go with me and my platonic friends to see my girlfriend, Holly. And they also drive into the country. And I believe, yes. Oh, yes, here. We're at the right spot. And I believe, okay, so they're like camped out like near the house that Joshua's family's staying at. And they're, it's just 4 guys, man. Just 4 guys with one bed. And they're just having fun. That's what you do. And, but these fucking morons, apparently, in their, divine wisdom, they forgot to bring food, water, any nutritious substances to consume. Which is probably a mistake. And because we see that they were sleeping there overnight in their RV that they have, it cuts to this new character who I believe is named Arnold. Arnold, who is the oh my god guy. He's the only friend I can really remember, Arnold and Elliot. Arnold comes upon Elliot and another of his friends, and they're in bed together. Fucking shirtless, chat. I was like, okay, guys, come on. This is not... You're making a joke about this, and it's kind of inappropriate. This is not a good thing. You're just using the fact, like, they're it's like, come on. This is some really low-hanging fruit. And Elliot, like, don't use Elliot's sexual confusion as a punchline. I think we've moved past that. But again, this is the 80s. This is fucking Reagan-era 80s, guys. And that's just the way it is. That's the butt of the joke. And so Arnold's like, all right, I'm going to let you two fuck. And I'm going to go out and get some food. And so, when Arnold's going out to get some food, I think, he comes upon another buxom lass who's just fucking running through the woods. Her shirt's been torn apart. She's covered in green sap and everything. Like, she's panicking. And Arnold's like, oh, God, I got to help her. And he's like, wait, come back. And he's just fucking bolting towards her. And again, he's not really saying, like, I'm going to help you. He's like, hey, stop. It's like, clearly, and when he finally comes upon her, this could be interpreted as, like, this is very uncomfortable. Because it feels like he was trying to make some really unwarranted sexual advances. He wanted to rape her, chat. It looked like he wanted to rape her. I was like, nah, this isn't good. Let's not do this. And so he's on top of her. He's like, hey, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Just fucking choke her. It's like, okay, this is not good. No, we gotta refilm this thing. There's, make some edits or something. Change the dialogue in ADR. And she says, oh, they're coming after me. They're coming after me. It's the goblins, chat. Because Arnold turns his fucking head. And he says, oh, yeah, there they are. They're the literal goblins with their little fucking Ewok pitchforks. They're right there. He's like, don't worry, lady. I'll take care of it. And he just proceeds to walk towards them. And he's like, listen, guys. I forget what he says. I really don't know what... again, it's a bad joke. He makes a really bad joke, basically telling him, hey, man, if a girl says, don't touch him, do it, all right? Unless you really want him. And he goes back to her. And the goblins are like, they pause for him. It's like, this motherfucker is fucking fronting on us and telling us what to do. So one of the goblins just takes his fucking spear and fucking throws it right into Arnold's chest and impales him. He's like, oh my God. And so he's been impaled. And he manages to pull it out, but then him and the girl just go off. They were like, all right, fuck these little dwarf creatures, which they could clearly beat the shit out of, chat. as also indicated later on in the film, because they're not much of a threat, honestly. Like, maybe in numbers you get them, but like, you get them one at a time. You can take them out very quickly. But then they're running away. They're like, all right, fuck this. We got to get the hell out of here. And they eventually come upon this, I don't know, they see a house, but it's definitely a church that's been made to look very Celtic. And they meet this character who now is the worst actor in the movie, who his name is Credence. And I'm confused by Credence. I'm not sure what her character's supposed to function as, like if she's also a goblin. But at least at this point, she's like a witch. And she kind of starts to reveal a little bit of the backstory, the history of the goblins and things, like what they are, that they're based in Stonehenge Scottish magic, I believe. And she's like, don't worry, I can keep you safe with that. That's my family history. And yeah, this overacting. All of it. They got her in this really bad fake teeth eyeliner up to here, and they made her like really ghostly pale, and like every line of dialogue's ridiculous. Julian, welcome to stream. I'm Diego. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. And she's like, hey, you know what? I know what to calm you down with. Have this green gelatin mass, this pudding, and just have that. Drink that. You'll be feeling good in no time. And they just fucking, all right. And they start drinking. They start hawking it down. And the girl's like, ugh. She starts getting the bubbly guts. And by the way, there is a fart joke in here, because either Arnold or the girl ass is like all the time. Unless that was an addition that they added to the clips here, but someone is breaking wind very often. I think it might be the girl, because she's a little more far gone than Arnold is. And then, but she starts eating it, and then she starts, she becomes the mass, the gelatin plant mass, the chlorophyll mass that the goblins will soon eat. And this is the iconic scene, guys. This is the iconic scene when after she crawls upstairs for whatever reason. I don't know why she crawls upstairs. I don't get that. And where she becomes the chlorophyll goop paste. We see Arnold go, oh my God, she turned into that thing, and they're eating her, and they're gonna eat me. Oh my God! And that's where the scene's from. That's where that scene's from. He watches as this girlfriend, or his girl, who he clearly has some affection for, but also in a weird rapey way, is being consumed by these goblins. It's like, all right, so she's dead, and he can't move. He can't escape, by the way, because he also, I believe, consumes some of the plant mass, but not enough. Where he doesn't degrade, he doesn't dissolve, but he is becoming plant-like. We'll see that later on. Because he's basically becoming a tree. He's got poison ivy, Chad. It's like poison ivy got a hold. She's like, Credence is very much like poison ivy. She's like the shit version. She's like the shittier version of Uma Thurman and Batman and Robin. Let me pause and say that again, Chad. She's the shittier version of Uma Thurman from Batman and Robin. Just wanted to give you that little treat. And so after that, one of Elliot's other friends, Drew, he's like, okay, well, I'm going to go out and find my friends too, because I don't know where Arnold is. He went after this young hussy. Who needs girls anyway? We got boys, and that's all we need. And so he goes out looking for him. Oh, he also goes out looking for food too. That's it. And he goes into town. He meets the sheriff of the town, who then proceeds to give him another, like, it's like a bagel filled with the gelatin mass, and he's just fucking munching on it. Like, all right, he's fucking dead. He munches on. He goes to town. He meets the populace, which, again, this is also a town apparently of 30 people. They even say that in the film. Like, they make a point saying, oh, yeah, just Noblig or whatever the hell it's called. It's just a town of 30. How a town of 30 can support themselves, I don't know. But this one apparently does. So he goes into town, and he's not looking to. He got the bubbly guts. He's fucking got the sap sweat all down his face. He goes in. They got no food. All they have is like this weird milk substance, Noblog milk. And so he goes in there and he's like, here, you can have this. We got nothing. Apparently this is the guy that's Nilbog. Thank you, Fern. I keep forgetting the way it's called. Nilbog, because it's goblin spelled backwards. He goes in there and they're like, listen, we don't have any food, but we got this Nilbog milk. You want this? He's like, fuck yeah, man. He starts drinking it. And he leaves, and he's not looking too good. And the townspeople surround him, and they say, hey, we saw your friend Arnold and that young hussy. They went to this building down here. It's about a mile away. Why don't you just cut through the woods? And that's what fucking Drew does. He does that. Starts to get more bubbly guts, not feeling too good about himself. Gets to the building eventually. Gets rid of the milk because he realizes, oh, this isn't good for me, even though I drank fucking half of it. Gets there. We discover what happened to Arnold, chat. He's become very plant-like, but basically turned into a tree. fucking legs are gone, basically. He's in a potted plant. Also holding up a little plant for some reason. I guess it's supposed to be comedic. But he's basically in a plant. Like, bark has covered his face and everything, parts of his body. Like, he can't move either. It's like his limbs have become petrified. Like, the bones have become wood. And he can't bend them. And Drew eventually discovers that, oh, this thing is Arnold, rips the fucking bark off his face, which kind of creeped me out a little bit. I was like, ooh, that must have hurt, right? Because it's a part of him now, too. And so he rips it off. I was like, get me the fuck out of here, man. And he's like trying. He can't do shit because he's got the bubbly guts. Credence comes back and says, what the fuck are you doing? She fucking just backhands him. Backhands Drew across the room. He lands in the bed. He's like, ugh. And he passes out. Then Credence says, all right, Arnold, you've been a very bad boy. Proceeds to get a chainsaw, chat. and just starts rubbing it. And she cuts him up. We don't see it. Like, she says that. It's, you know what? Honestly, you're not going to feel this. It'll actually just tickle you. And he just starts fucking laughing. Arnold just starts laughing. But she chops him up. And Drew, we don't see again. I assume he's killed off screen because we never see him again. Maybe he got turned into the gelatin mask. We don't know. We then eventually cut back to the house with Joshua and his family. That they discovered that there is no food in the pantry, in the cupboards, or in the fridge. All they have is the Nilbog milk, as we saw earlier, that Drew was drinking, which you should not eat or consume because that also turns you into gelatinous chlorophyll mass. And so Joshua and Dennis' dad says, like, okay, we're gonna go out and get some food. They do that, but then they go to the I don't know, I guess the market where Drew was earlier, but it's closed now for a church, I think. And it was like, Dad's like, fuck, well, you guys, we gotta wait, because I think it's like closed for like 90 minutes or something. Fucking hour and a half long service, chat. That's a long time. Goblin Mass probably takes a really long time, apparently. Gotta worship their, I don't know, Daedra gods or something. And so he's like, all right, well, I'm just gonna wait on this bench. You know, Joshua, you just go about this random town, even though we know nothing about it. Just have fun. Joshua steals a fucking skateboard that he finds, and he starts, going around town, apparently looking for his grandpa, too, because he has to contact him. You got to figure out, how the hell do we got to get out of here? How do we survive? He discovers that the residents of the town are holding some type of service. By the way, all the residents are goblins, and this is all a trap. He goes up there, and he basically starts listening to their sermon, and the goblin chieftain, who, again, is basically sounding like a southern gothic preacher, just talking about brimstone and death, except that's cute. But it's not like, oh, don't sin or anything like that. No, his whole thing is about, again, it's kind of like if PETA was filled with goblins. He's like, hey, listen, man, don't eat animals, don't eat meat. You become gross and disgusting. We don't want that. Matter of fact, we just want to turn the whole world into chlorophyll paste. And he's like, oh, that doesn't sound too bad. And so, but Joshua is eventually discovered because he fucks up, and the goblin chieftain grabs him, and they're trying to make him eat this gelatinous ice cream mass. Like, hey, eat this, and so you can become food to us. But then Dennis' dad eventually finds out. He's like, oh, my son, what's going on here? And the people in the town are like, oh, just playing. Oh, we're just giving your son, we're just forcing your son to eat ice cream. And Dennis' dad, again, he's so fucking weak-willed. He's got nothing, chat. No self-confidence. He's like, all right, well, it was nice meeting all of you. And he fucking gets out of there. And eventually they go back to the house. And I guess all the goblin people got there before them, even though they clearly, like, Joshua and his dad clearly had the head start. But okay, fair enough. And the goblins have basically they're doing a party, the whole town, all 30-plus people. And they've laid out, again, another spread of just really shitty desserts and more of that green drink for him. And Josh was like, you know what, fuck this. I'm not participating. So he heads upstairs, and he's like, I don't know what to do. And he's like asking for Grandpa Seth to come back. Grandpa Seth, please help me. And then he's like looking at the mirror. Oh, because that's right. Because Grandpa Seth also appears an apparition to Holly by mistake later, and she got to freak the fuck out because she saw a fucking ethereal head of her grandfather just fucking floating and shouting at her. And that would freak you out, I think, chap. So he goes up there. He does the same thing. He goes to the spot that Holly was in, and he's like screaming in the mirror, Grandpa, help us. And then all of a sudden, a fucking goblin bursts out of the mirror and attacks him. And they start wrestling. And it's like, oh, this is crazy. And then we cut down. We sometimes also cut down downstairs, or they're doing their song. The goblins are doing their little song. It's still in human form and everything. And even Joshua's family is like, you know what? I think something weird's going on around here. So even they're starting to get, even as dumb as they fucking are, chat, even they're starting to understand it. Which is good. Which is good. You want them to. But then we come back upstairs, and Joshua's still fighting with the goblin. But then Grandpa Seth appears, and he knocks the shit out of that goblin. I don't know if he kills him. No, he forces him back through the mirror, and they do some weird, like reverse effects, and so the mirror repairs itself. It's like, oh, I see what you did there. It's a little cool camera trick. And then Grandpa Seth's like, oh, what we gotta do right now, we gotta get your family out of here. We gotta kill that goblin chieftain, because he's gonna get him to eat the goblin food. And I don't know how he does this. Again, it's very weird. Grandpa Seth pulls out a fucking Molotov cocktail and says, let's use this, with a big old smile on his face. And they sneak downstairs, and they're just going to burn the house down with all the goblins in there. But the family's in there, too. Like, they didn't even make a plan to get the family out there. It's like, listen, man, your family's a goddamn lost cause. I've tried to warn them as much as possible. At this point, we got to take them all out. No survivors. So they sneak downstairs, but then the goblin chieftain discovers them. He takes the Molotov cocktail, and he has an ethereal force battle. Basically, they're using the force between the goblin chieftain and Grandpa Seth. And Grandpa Seth, fucking Ryan Johnson, chat. Ryan Johnson stole this from Troll 2. I am not kidding. Grandpa Joe, remember Last Jedi, chat? When Yoda is able to summon the elements and summon lightning bolts to set things on fire, Grandpa Seth summons a lightning bolt to strike the Molotov cocktail, and the Goblin Chieftain bursts into flames. And he's fucking screaming. He's like, oh my God, I'm on fire. That's what happens. Ryan Johnson, I see what you did there. Taking the good work of Troll 2 and applying to The Last Jedi. I know what you did. We all know it now. I'm speaking fact here, chat. That is what I saw. Goblin Chieftain's on fire. He's like, again, still in human form. He's still like freaking out. Meanwhile, this gets everyone's attention inside the house. All the goblins, Joshua's family. Dad runs out there. He has a fire extinguisher. He's like, oh my God, Jesus, you're on fire. And he puts him out. But then, chat, he's not in this human form anymore. Now he's in the goblin form. And the goblins, in their human form, goes like, all right, well, we fucked up. Listen, man. And they speak very plain, because we only got about 20 minutes of this movie left, so we got to fast track this right now. We're all goblins. Yes, your son was right. We are trying to force you to eat this gelatinous mass so we can then consume you. We're going to want to kill you. And at that moment, they could definitely kill them. And then the movie just cuts. Because they have them surrounded. They have the entire family surrounded. Oh, by the way, Elliot also joins them too at some point. Oh, that's why. That's how they got back earlier, chat. That's why the goblins got to the house first before Joshua and the dentist dad did. Because they go check on Elliot and Holly because they're having a scrap. And Holly's just kicking the shit out of Elliot, by the way. She just fucking backhands him. He goes, yeah, and he fucking flies. He lands on his tuchus. And he's taking it from Holly. But then he's like, all right, I'm going to repress myself. And clearly, the fact that I'm gay, to live a lie with you, Holly. That's what I'll do for you and your family right now. It's like, okay, this is uncomfortable, but sure. And so they go back to the house, and then all the other thing happens, as I just said. And now we're back to where we are, where the goblins say, okay, we're goblins now. We're going to kill you. And then it cuts. And then the family's back inside. And the goblins are all outside. And it's like, what the hell just happened? Like, is there something I missed? Like, I don't know if it was the version I was watching. But it's like, clearly they could have just taken them all. Or just, like, forced them to eat the goblin food to turn them into the plant paste. But it didn't happen. They're out. The goblins are outside now. And the family's inside. That's it. Okay, it's like, all right, fine. Whatever. Weird, terrible editing, chat. Much like the rest of this film. And Josh is like, well, I don't know what to do. Now they're back in the house and safe. And the family's panicking. Josh goes, I got a good idea. Let's summon the soul of my grandfather who I've been talking to the entire time. The family says, this is what they say at first. Joshua, your grandfather's dead. Holly then proceeds to say, do you think you can do it, Joshua? Beat. Yes. And everyone agrees to summon the undead spirit of his grandfather. That's all that happens, chat. That's like, all right, you know what? He's dead. Can you do it, Joshua? Yes. Let's proceed to resurrect the spirit of our grandfather. Okay, let's do it. And so they proceed to do a seance, chat. They get all these candles. How they get all these candles, I don't know. And clearly Joshua can communicate with his grandfather. He can show up whatever he wants. I mean, again, Star Wars rules, chat. It's complicated. And they're like, all right, well, maybe we can, like, really get him back or something for maybe an extended period of time. And so they perform this seance, And it's like, oh, at first it looks like it works, but then all of a sudden the goblins attack, even though they could have attacked much earlier and killed the entire family. But now they're inside the house again. And the family's trying to survive. Joshua's gone, by the way. You don't know what the hell happened to Joshua. It's like almost he became possessed for a second, and then he just wasn't there anymore. But the family starts fighting these goblins, and they proceed to just fucking wipe the floor with them, too. Like, they fucking grab one, they throw them around. Like, again, these things aren't really that strong. Really, like, the reason why the goblins, I think, have so much success is because they use deception and illusion and things. But, like, as a physical threat, they're kind of fucking pushovers. So I don't even know why the family's kind of panicking. Because even, like, the wooden spears, like, you could fucking bat that away and just punch the shit out of him until he's dead. You know, they're filled with chloroform paste or whatever, chat. Or chlorophyll. I could call it chloroform paste. Chlorophyll paste. But they're all running around the house and panicking. Holly, Elliot, the mother, and Dentist's dad. But then we cut to the building, the church, with the Stonehenge shit. And that's where Joshua is. He's somehow transported to there. And his grandfather's also there. And I don't think we see any of the other characters. I think Arnold's already been chopped up. I think Drew was killed off screen. Oh! And the reason why Credence isn't there is because Credence, she performs a spell on herself. And to make herself, like, sexy. And, you know, chat, I'm gonna admit right here, she's a little sexy. A little sexy. She did good. She got fixed her teeth. You know, got a little rouge on her cheeks. Not as pale as before. Kind of like Elvira. A little bit like similar to Elvira, I'd say. You know? Because one of Ellie's other friends is still at the trail, and she's like, all right, I gotta fucking bed that guy and turn him into gooey plant paste. And she goes over there, and her weapon of choice is a very long piece of corn, and she's just having a goddamn ball for chat. It's like, all right, I get it. You want to have sex with this guy, and this thing's fucking a dildo, basically, chat. And Elliot's friend is all about that piece of corn. He loves it. And so she's, you know, seducing him. But he's all about, he just wants the corn, chat. And so they're eating the corn together. Like all that. Eating the corn together. And then eventually what happens, I don't really know what happened after this because they eat the corn and then he becomes surrounded. I think he drowns in popcorn or something. He drowns in popcorn, and we cut back to what Joshua and Grandpa Seth. Grandpa Seth is back, and he says, listen, I'll help you, but I can only be here for 10 minutes. Why only 10 minutes? I don't know. Clearly the seance worked, but the rules are very nebulous. And so he says, okay, in order to stop the goblins and stop Credence, we have to destroy the magic stone, because there's magic stone, chat. Because I guess the piece of stone that is in the building, the church, is from Stonehenge, and that's what provides the goblins with their power. And if they close the magic stone, because there's like two pillars, and clearly they go back and forth like different dimensions or stuff or teleportation. They gotta close the Stonehenge, all right, Chad? Again, everything's coming up quick. I really understand it myself. So they gotta close it, and they're proceeding to do that. And but Grandpa Seth is like, it's too hard, and I'm disappearing. Joshua, you need to do this by yourself. Goodbye. And Grandpa Seth, he leaves, so he wasn't much help at all. And Joshua's still trying to close it, but then fucking Credence shows up. And so do the other goblins. Like, get that fucking kid. Stop that. No, we need our magic goddamn Stonehenge stone. And so they grab him, and they're about to force feed him the paste, the green paste, to eat his body. And he's like, no. Oh, now I remember what it is. But Grandpa Seth did leave something behind for Joshua, a secret weapon. And Joshua has in his hand. And before he eats the paste, he actually eats a double-decker bologna sandwich. And he eats the double-decker bologna sandwich, and Credence and the goblins are repulsed by that because they don't like when things eat meat because it's gross. And so they back away. I'm serious. This is what happens, chat. I'm not making this up. This is what happened in the movie. And so they're like, don't touch him. Because I guess we'll die if we touch him or something. And so he goes back to the Stonehenge magic stone, starts to close it. His family shows up from the other side of it for whatever reason. I don't know how. And they also help him close it. And then we cut back to their house in the city. Them rolling up to their house in the city. We don't know what happens. Like, the goblins start melting and things, and Credence starts dying. But then after they close it, we immediately cut back to them at the suburbs. I mean, it's the suburbs. They say the city, but it's the suburbs. And they're like, oh, wow, what an adventure. That was crazy, right? It's like, wow, this is very anticlimactic. Clearly ran out of budget here. Couldn't have a grand finale, whatever. Here's the thing, chat. You know, even though they're all, you know, like, okay, let's relax, let's take in what the fuck just happened. The fact that, you know, Elliot's friends all became plant food, and You know, we basically discovered another species and everything, almost died. You know, let's relax. Let's take a day off. And so Josh was like, whoo, that was crazy. He goes back upstairs and he starts hearing these voices, Chad. He hears the voice of Grandpa Seth. You're not safe, Joshua. Get out of the house, Joshua. Joshua's like, oh no, we didn't kill them all. He goes back downstairs, Chad. And meanwhile, before this, his mother was eating some food out of the fridge, eating an apple. Because, as we learn, the goblin family from earlier, the farmer family, they were still there. They were there. They planted all that food and they're using the tricks, Chet. See? They're not good at physical threat, but when it comes to like illusions, deception, they're pretty good. And they're proceeding to consume the half-plant, half-meat corpse of his mother. And you could tell it's his mother because this is the first like sign. You in the film check, she's got the big old, you know, bazongas that's covered in just chlorophyll paste. And they offer him a chunk of his mother and says, you want some, Joshua? And he goes, ah! And then credits. And that's the movie. That's Troll 2. So, it is definitely one of the worst movies of all time. It is pretty goddamn bad. There's no redeeming things about it. I mean, it is unintentionally funny. You know, clearly the best way to... Don't watch this movie alone like I did, because you will be miserable. Watch this film with a bunch of people. This is the best way to watch something like this. You know, watch this in the same style as you would something like Riff Tracks or Mystery Science Theater 3000, where you're someone actively mocking it, or at least having friends around to actively mock it with you and laugh at all the terrible dialogue. But yeah, no, it's a bad film. It definitely deserves the moniker of one of the worst movies of all time. Upon its release, it was considered that way. It was a huge box office flop. You know, I think it got like a slight theatrical release, and then it went like straight to demand and television. But then eventually, it did garner a huge cult following. It did produce, at least so far, a great documentary and best worst movie, directed by and produced by Joshua, the actor, Michael Stephenson. And so far, I'm really enjoying it. So I highly recommend checking it out. If you want to do that, if you are going to watch these by yourself, watch Troll 2 first and then watch the documentary afterwards. About 3 hours of content right there. It's pretty good. But if you're going to watch Troll 2, chat, watch it with a group of friends or or in a theater environment. Everyone's there to laugh at it. That's what I recommend to you. But what'd you think, guys? Did you like my review? I went on with this for a goddamn hour. This is the longest review of Troll 2 in the history of streaming, I think. Travis, did you just describe a very detailed fever dream you had? No, man, this is real. I saw this. I watched the last 20 minutes of this like about an hour ago. It happened. Journals Lordy, watch a movie with a bunch of your favorite ashtray bitches. Goddamn right. Absolutely. I don't know, guys. Maybe mention that to Corey if you want to do like a viewing party of Troll 2. Or have him do a bad movie review for that. I think that could be fun. Bring it up to him. Thomas, so kidnap the Riff Tracks people to watch with you. Exactly, Thomas, exactly. Or, you know, there's even a local troupe of guys who are based in Austin and Texas and also the Southwest called Master Pancake Theater. Some of them even written for the revival series of Mystery Science Theater 3000. And, like, if you're ever in Austin, they do something like this. Highly recommend checking them out. I'm always trying to, you know, promote their content. They do a great job. And it's done in a live setting, which is pretty cool. Yes, movie's better than Casablanca. You know, to some people it probably is. You know, if you like bad movies, it doesn't get much worse than this. The Mexican say, I've been waiting for a Neil Bring review from Corey since 2017. You'll probably get it, man. At the rate that he's covering bad films, I even believe he's going to be doing a bad movie review of Tammy and the T-Rex, the R-rated version tonight, after the viewing party he just did this past Friday. So that should be a lot of fun. He's already talked to me about his next bad movie review he's going to be doing. It's one of my personal favorites that I wish... See, it's like I don't want to do that one, too, if he's going to do it. But it's one of my favorite bad movies of all time. Right up there with Blind Fury to me. So I think you guys are going to like that. So what would you rate this? I mean... Probably, it's definitely like a fuck you, I think. But it's a fuck you. No, honestly, no. I don't think I'd give you a fuck you. Because, again, there are so many unintentionally hilarious moments in this movie. I mean, just the whole concept and design and what they produce is a fuck you. But because you can get so much enjoyment out of it, because you can laugh among friends and family and even complete strangers, that is why I would raise it to a Sumo bullshit, chat. This is bullshit and it's good shit. It's good shit.